Hey everyone, welcome to another Terry Talk. This week, wanted to talk about interviewing. Everybody seems to be doing it. Yet, how good are we at doing it? Good question. I'm reminded a few years ago, and those of you who read my book, Desuckify Work, will know this story. But a friend of mine was going to be interviewing for the very first time. And I asked them, I said, what are you going to do? They said, well, I'm gonna interview the person. I said, yeah, but what are you gonna do? So we're gonna ask them some questions. And I said, but yeah, how do you know how to do that? And they said, well, I'm a manager now. That was interesting. So there's some predetermined DNA that just instantaneously makes us good at interviewing. And sadly, that's how a lot of people go about making decisions. Not really well trained or well suited to interviewing, but nonetheless are doing it. So, some of the things where it goes wrong. So, lack of planning, as an example, not really planning out how you want to go about conducting the interview, where it's going to happen, who's going to be involved, what are the questions you're going to ask, what are the key things that you want to find out about the particular candidate. But then when you bring the person in, I've seen this a lot of times where people just have a really hard time engaging in small talk. The person's probably coming in, probably a little bit nervous, a little bit, on the edge a little bit. So make them comfortable, make them feel at home. This shouldn't be a master servant kind of relationship. This shouldn't be somebody coming in and, you hold all the power in the room as the interviewer. This should be, kind of akin to dating in some ways, where you're trying to find out if there's a fit between two particular individuals and the individual in the organization. And of course, whether or not this has some long-term potential. Questions, like asking really great questions, moving away from closed questions or leading questions or questions that actually have the answer already baked in. Seen this so many times, and candidates end up telling you what they think you want to hear. Not using silence appropriately. Silence can be your best friend in an interview. Allows you time to think, reflect, ask the next best probing question, get under the hood a little bit more in terms of what the person is asking. And then, of course, using objective measures at the end. So these are some of the things just off the top of my mind. However, what prompted this particular Terry Talk was Adam Grant's new book, Hidden Potential. And in Adam Grant's new book, he talks about how past performance is a great predictor for future success as long as it's in the same role. Pretty clever. I agree with that. If it's for a role that's outside of where they've been before, past performance may not be that great of an indicator. As he says in his book, skills kind of set the floor, but what's more important is the person's character. Character, as he says in his book, sets the ceiling. So the next time you're facing an interview, remember this one. I think this is absolutely critical and brilliant. Ask the question about their character. And a great question to ask there is, how hard was it for you to get where you are today? So in his world, and I agree with him, is potential is execution multiplied by the level of difficulty. In other words, adversity and overcoming adversity can tell a lot more about a particular candidate than just asking them about their skills. As always, love to hear your comments on these ideas. Drop us a note down below. Send us a note. Love to connect with you. And we'll see you again soon.